Hello, welcome to Scrap Time episode 990. My name is Christine, and on today's episode, I'm showing you the We Are Memory Keepers It Factor paper collection. Today I'm showing you the We Are Memory Keepers It Factor paper. I'm showing you the 12 by 12 paper pad, but you can also get this in 6 by 6. I like the paper pads because you get all the paper and 2 of each sheet, but you can buy these sheets individually as well. I'm just going to flip through a bit so you can see some of the patterns and colors. I love the bright yellows and then this pink. There's a lot of repeat patterns in this paper. I really like the little bobby pins, neat little images. And then coordinating little backgrounds, speech bubbles. These are always great to coordinate with the patterns, some great pattern or backgrounds. The pineapples are a lot of fun, and then here we have little drops like teardrops or raindrops. Some watercolor writing, funny, LOL, laugh out loud, giggle. Then a take on the chevron, this numbers, fun lines, the pretzels, and then just the solid green. So you can see there's a lot of really great pattern in some fun colors in this collection. So I wanted to use a bunch of the different patterns, so I decided to do sort of a patchwork background. And so I layered a bunch of different squares and rectangles onto my background. I adhered them with multi-medium. And then what I did is I used the distress stain over the whole thing. And this just sort of brings all the color more into the background. Then I used the pink sheet and I cut out some petals and then just doodled on them to make this flower. And I cut out a circle from the sheet that had all the circles. So I'm going to show you how to do this on a card. So just the same technique but on a smaller format. I'm using a watercolor card, but that's just my preference. You can use any card for this technique. And I'm doing a 5 by 7 card here. And I have some multi-medium. And I have pre-cut already a bunch of squares from the different patterns. So all you do, I'm going to try and put down a lot of medium so I can do this fairly quickly. When you're working in your book, you just want to do a bit at a time because the medium will dry. So I'll do about half. And I'm randomly just picking up the squares. I haven't pre-thought. And so after you put the square down, you want to put a layer of medium over top to seal it. And as well for your overlapping. So you just put it down. And then you get your next square, or rectangle I guess in this case. Put our speech bubbles there. And then I can turn them other ways too. I can put this here to change it up. Put this here. I want to get the pretzels in there. Now you could always cut that down if you wanted more of that print showing. You could have just cut that piece down. goes there. And then I'm going to cut this a little. And put that down. So it's that easy to cover your background. The next thing I need to do is dry this completely before we move on to do the wash over top of it. My card is dry, and so now I want to just cut off some of this excess paper that went over the edges to clean it up. Okay, so our next step is putting Distress Stain. This is by Tim Holtz for Ranger. You shake it up. You can hear the ball bearing in it to make sure it's shook. Oh, this is a new one. So we get it going. And then you just want to put a thin layer over top of all your papers. And as I said, this sort of neutralizes the papers, takes some of the busier print sort of behind a layer, adds that layer on there, and brings all the paper sort of to the background. Just sort of like that. I'm just going to give it a quick dry. Okay, so now we want to put petals on. So I took my pink paper and I just randomly cut these petals. Once you cut one, you can always put it back on your paper and then just cut around it so they're all sort of similar. And the idea is to layer up the petals, so it's going to sort of be like this, this, and then I'm going to go back over. Now, part of the thing is because we put that stain down, the multi-medium will reactivate the stain. So what I sometimes do is I'll put my petals on the table first to put the medium on. And then I sort of overlap that first one. I want it like it's coming off my page. I'm just going to, so when I go over it, I want to be a little careful because I will probably end up picking up some of that white and putting it on the flower. So I'm just going to try to see, try to avoid doing that, but I know at some point it will happen. So then I put this petal sort of like that. And I also doodled on each of the petals first because I knew they were going to be overlapped. So I wanted to doodle on them before to make it easier. And I just used my white paint marker for that, but you could use any sort of white pen you might have. Okay, and I just have a few more petals here. So now we're overlapping, so I wanted to make sure I had that medium below them as well. this just makes a nice full flower by overlapping your petals like that. And then I'm just going to go over it with the medium. Just to make sure it's nice and stuck down. And then finally I had cut out a circle from that page with all the circles on it. And then just doodled a little around it. So that is going to be my middle. I'm going to put it off my card a bit, and then after I dry it, I will just cut it off. And so there we have our card. As I said, after this dries, I'll just cut off the excess so it's nice and straight there. But that is a fun way you can use a variety of papers from the It Factor collection from We Are Memory Keepers. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm showing you my Exploring Art Journaling for iBook. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.